They won't tell you this in school. They won't whisper it in the corporate hallways. You won't hear it echoing from the soft voices of the timid. But it's there, hidden in plain sight. A force more powerful than intelligence, more essential than talent, the one quality that divides the extraordinary from the forgotten. Unbreakable confidence, not the shallow kind, not the illusion painted on social media or wrapped in empty bravado, not arrogance, not noise, but something real, something forged. Confidence built like a cathedral over years of storms, the kind that walks into a room without needing to speak and still commands the world to listen. And here's the untold secret. Confidence is not a gift. It's not something the gods hand out to a chosen few at birth. It's not reserved for the charismatic or the naturally talented. It is a discipline, a practice, a war you must fight, against doubt, against fear, against every whisper in your mind telling you you're not enough. You weren't born to shrink. You weren't born to second guess. Look at the world around you. Every monument, every empire, every revolution was sparked by someone who believed before the world gave them permission to. Edison failed 10,000 times and didn't flinch. Lincoln lost more elections than most people apply for jobs. Ford was told he didn't understand business. Disney was fired for lacking imagination. They didn't wait to be validated. They knew that confidence wasn't the result of success, it was the cause of it. And what about you? How long will you keep asking for permission to be great? How many more years will you let self-doubt write your script? You don't need to feel ready. You need to decide. Because here's what no one teaches you. Your mind is not your master. It's your servant. And if you let it, it will rehearse your failures until you become them. It will cling to your weaknesses like armor. But the moment you take command, the moment you speak with authority to the voice in your head, everything changes. Confidence begins in mindset, not in outcome. It starts in the darkness, long before the spotlight ever arrives. It's forged in solitude, not applause. It's when you choose to believe in the vision even when your bank account says otherwise. When you keep building even after the doors slam shut. When the world says no and you say, watch me. But make no mistake, this isn't about delusion. This isn't pretending. This is remembering. Remembering that every breakthrough in human history was once impossible. That the same fire burning in Edison and Jobs and Mandela lives dormant in you. It's not gone. It's not dead. It's just buried under layers of conformity, fear, and forgetfulness. And it's time to resurrect it. Clarity is power, because you cannot be confident in a fog. If you don't know who you are, what you stand for, and where you're going, how can you expect your mind to walk with conviction? The moment you define your vision with ruthless clarity, confidence stops being an accident. It becomes inevitable. Not because you know exactly how, but because you know exactly why. And in a world of distracted minds and half-hearted dreams, a person with certainty becomes magnetic, unstoppable. Purpose is your spine. When you know what you're here for, truly, not some generic quote about making a difference, but a fire-lit why that pulls you out of bed when motivation dies. That's when confidence becomes unshakable, because it's no longer about you. It's about something greater moving through you. And when your life is aligned with purpose, fear begins to evaporate. Doubt can't breathe in the presence of deep meaning. But let's not pretend it's easy. Confidence will cost you. It will cost you comfort. It will cost you the need to be liked, the need to be approved of. It will require you to become the architect of your habits, the guardian of your inner world. Discipline is the hammer. And every time you show up, when it's hard, when it's cold, when you're tired, you lay another brick. You send a message to your subconscious, I can trust myself. And that's where the real confidence lives. Not in fake positivity, but in the quiet knowing that you will do what you said you would do. Confidence is not loud. It does not scream. It's a stillness, a presence. It's walking into the storm and knowing that whatever happens you will not fold. And that begins with action. You cannot think your way into belief. You act your way into it. The more you do, the more you prove to yourself that you are capable. And capability becomes confidence. But most never start. They wait. Wait for certainty. Wait for courage. Wait for the perfect moment that never comes. And the clock keeps ticking. You will never be more ready than you are right now. Not tomorrow. Not after another book. Not after another year of planning. Right now is the only battlefield, and every step you take into the unknown is a brick in the foundation of unbreakable confidence. The first time you speak up when your voice shakes, the first time you show up when fear screams louder than reason, that's not just bravery. That's the birthplace of a new identity. Because each time you choose to move forward when everything in you wants to retreat, you chip away at the lie that says you're not enough. Confidence isn't found, it's built, brick by brick, in the silence of early mornings, in the discipline of lonely nights, in the moments when nobody claps but you persist anyway. And then, one day, the mirror reflects someone you don't recognize, not because you've changed, but because you've finally become who you were meant to be all along. The world will always test your belief. It will hand you rejections, delays, closed doors, and failure, not to destroy you, but to ask you one question. Do you still believe? Do you believe when the applause stops? Do you believe when the numbers don't show it yet? Do you believe when your friends don't understand you, when your family doubts your path? Because true confidence isn't belief in results, it's belief in process. It's belief in yourself, regardless of circumstance. You must be willing to walk alone, and in that silence you'll find your power. Because here's the irony. The moment you no longer need external validation, the world starts giving it to you. That's when your presence shifts, not because you're trying to prove anything, but because you've got nothing to prove. You know what you bring. You've done the inner work. You've faced the shadows, tamed the chaos, and chosen growth over comfort 1,000 times. And that kind of confidence can't be imitated. It can't be faked. It's earned. Gratitude is your secret weapon. Not the soft, cliché kind, but the kind that sharpens you. The kind that says, I'm grateful for the pain, for the struggle, for the rejection. Because every scar became a staircase. Every setback carved out more space inside of you. Space to hold power, wisdom, presence. Be grateful not only for what's working, but for what's not. Because the friction is forming you. The resistance is refining you. And the days you want to quit are the days that build your legacy. Confidence grows where adaptability lives. In a world that changes by the hour, you cannot be rigid. You must bend without breaking. You must evolve without losing your core. The confident don't fear change. They invite it. They understand that every ending is a portal. Every failure is feedback. And every detour is part of the map, not a sign to stop. But you must stop clinging to who you were. Stop worshiping old versions of yourself, because the next level of your life demands a new identity, one that is fluid, fearless, and fiercely committed to growth. Confidence isn't about knowing everything. It's about being willing to learn anything. Become a student of life. Every person, every moment, every mistake, a lesson. Because when you become addicted to growth, doubt loses its grip. You no longer ask, what if I fail? You ask, what will I learn? You stop fearing imperfection. You start chasing evolution. Look at the greats. They weren't perfect. They were obsessed with learning. Carnegie read every book he could find. Da Vinci filled notebooks with questions. Oprah is still learning, still asking, still evolving. And because they never stopped growing, their confidence only deepened with time. But you must protect your mind like a vault, because your confidence is only as strong as the thoughts you entertain. You cannot plant seeds of greatness while feeding yourself weeds of self-doubt. Guard your inputs. Audit your influences. Surround yourself with people who fan your flame, not extinguish it. Because here's the truth. Confidence is contagious, but so is insecurity. Choose your circle like your life depends on it, because it does. Every word you speak to others and to yourself is either building or breaking your confidence. Speak as if you already are who you aim to become, not with lies but with vision, because your words are blueprints, your beliefs are bricks, and your actions are the architects. There is no finish line, no moment when you'll have it all figured out, but that's not the point. The point is becoming someone who walks with purpose through the unknown, who doesn't shrink in uncertainty but rises in it. Resilience is your armor, because life will punch you. It will knock the wind out of your lungs and demand to know what you're made of. And in those moments, when your plan falls apart, when you lose what you thought you couldn't live without, you'll discover a truth that changes everything. You don't need easy, you need strength, because confidence is not walking a straight path. It's falling, and rising and falling again, and knowing that every time you get back up you come back stronger. It's trusting that your roots run deeper than the storm. So don't pray for fewer problems, pray for a stronger spine. Don't wish for perfect conditions. Prepare for relentless action, regardless of condition. You are not a victim of your mind. You are the master of it. And the most dangerous thing about you is not your skills or your talents. It's your ability to keep going when others fold, to keep believing when others laugh, to keep moving when fear screams for stillness. And that's the secret they never told you. Unbreakable confidence isn't loud. It's quiet, calm, focused. It's forged in failure, sculpted in silence, and awakened in the moments you least expect. There's a moment, subtle but sacred, when everything shifts, not because the world changes, but because you do. Because you stop negotiating with mediocrity. Because you stop explaining your ambition to people who were never meant to understand it. Because you realize that greatness isn't something you chase, it's something you choose. And the moment you make that choice, when you decide that you will no longer shrink for comfort, no longer apologize for your vision, no longer wait for the perfect time, the right mentor, the final reassurance, you begin to move like someone who cannot be broken. That's when confidence ceases to be a feeling and becomes your nature. And it doesn't come with fireworks. It comes in the quiet. When you look in the mirror and finally see someone you respect, someone who has bled for their values, suffered for their truth, stood alone when others sat safely in silence, and that person, that version of you, didn't emerge by accident. They were forged in the furnace of discomfort, in the relentless pursuit of becoming more. Understand this. You are not born confident. You are born capable. And it is your job to prove that capability to yourself every single day. With every hard decision, every disciplined morning, every fearless conversation, every step toward the edge of your own limits. Confidence is the byproduct of courage. And courage is not the absence of fear. It is the mastery of it. You will feel afraid. You will doubt yourself. But the question is, will you move anyway? Because that's the battlefield. Not in comfort, not in certainty, but in the space between fear and forward motion. Every time you move toward the thing that scares you, you grow. And every time you retreat, your fear grows stronger. That's the universal law. Fear-fed becomes a monster. Fear-faced becomes a memory. And you are more than your fears. You are more than your failures. You are more than the stories people wrote about you. Before you had the pen in your own hand, you are the author now. And confidence is what happens when you start writing the truth. You see, the world does not reward the most talented. It does not elevate the most intelligent. It elevates the ones who believe when there is no evidence yet. The ones who are willing to walk through fire, not because they're fearless, but because they've decided their future is worth more than their excuses. And the beauty of confidence is this. Once it's built, it compounds. Each win, no matter how small, stacks. Each act of bravery deposits into your identity, until eventually you walk into every room, every challenge, with the posture of someone who knows, I've earned my voice, and no one can take that from you. Not rejection, not criticism, not failure, because confidence built on identity, not outcome, cannot be broken. But hear this, it must be protected, like a sacred flame, because the world will try to dim it, with doubt, with cynicism, with the slow poison of comparison. You must choose, daily, to remain rooted in your path, not theirs, not the highlight reel, not the noise, your path, your mission, your values, because that is where confidence breathes, in alignment. When your thoughts, your actions, and your vision are all moving in one direction, the direction of your becoming. And when you fall, and you will, fall forward, fall boldly, fall with your fists still clenched around your truth, because the confident do not fear falling. They fear standing still. They know that stagnation is the real enemy, that comfort is the silent killer of potential, that safety, in excess, is spiritual suffocation, And so they move, they act, they stretch, they become. You don't need to be the loudest in the room. You don't need a spotlight or a stage. You just need to be undeniable in your effort, in your standards, in your integrity, in your presence, because presence is power. When you walk in fully owning your truth, not performing, not posturing, just being, the world feels it. Confidence is not about taking up space to prove something. It's about owning the space you already occupy and understanding that your existence is not an accident. It's an assignment. You were not placed here to shrink. You were not called to be invisible. You are here to create, to contribute, to lead. And leadership begins with leading yourself through the fire, through the fog, through the fear. So become the kind of person who does not wait to feel confident, but lives with such integrity, such discipline, such conviction that confidence can't help but show up. Because it's not magic, it's not a mystery, it's cause and effect. Put in the work, face the fear, tell the truth, move in purpose, and confidence will follow like a shadow, not because you chased it, but because you earned it. They will wonder how you do it, how you keep showing up, how you stand so tall when the storms roll in. They will whisper about your composure, your calm fire, your unshakable will, but they'll never truly understand, because what they see now was carved in places they never dared go, in moments where you broke quietly and rebuilt even quieter. This isn't about ego, it never was. True confidence is humility in motion, because when you've bled for your belief, when you've walked through hell and refused to kneel, you don't need to shout. You don't need to impress. You simply become. There is a depth to confidence that can't be taught in books. It's lived, it's felt, it's etched into your nervous system from the 1,000 times you moved forward anyway. When it hurt, when it made no sense, when everything inside you begged you to go back, to give up, to take the easy road, but you didn't. You chose the path of becoming, and becoming is brutal. It's not glamorous, it's lonely, it's quiet. It's crying alone at 3 a.m. while no one claps. It's missing the party, the distractions, the ease, because something inside you refuses to settle for less than what you know you're capable of. You don't rise with confidence because it's comfortable. You rise with confidence because not rising is no longer an option, because playing small began to taste like poison, and because the pain of staying the same finally outweighed the pain of growth. Let them think what they want. Let them call you obsessed, too intense, unrealistic. Every visionary in history was misunderstood until the world couldn't ignore them anymore. The world ridicules what it doesn't recognize. And confidence, true, earned, embodied confidence, it doesn't look like what most people have been taught to expect. It's not loud. It's not decorated. It's not cocky. It's grounded, rooted, calm in its knowing. And in that knowing there is freedom. You stop competing. You stop explaining. You stop seeking approval from a world that never saw your full picture to begin with. Because now your confidence is not based on how many people clap. It's based on how many times you refused to quit, on how many inner demons you faced, how many silent battles you won when no one was watching. And that's the kind of confidence they can't steal. But don't stop here. Because confidence, like a muscle, must be used to grow. If you do not stretch it, challenge it, test it, it begins to shrink. Not because it's weak, but because anything unused begins to decay. Stretch yourself. Take bigger risks. Speak louder truths. Move with greater urgency. Because the moment you become comfortable with who you are, the next mountain calls, and it won't be climbed with yesterday's strength. You will need to become stronger, again, more focused, again, more disciplined, more certain, more relentless, again. Confidence isn't something you arrive at. It's something you keep arriving at, again and again, through choice, through discipline, through unwavering vision. And speaking of vision, never underestimate its power, because vision gives meaning to struggle. When you can see your future clearly, feel it, taste it, live inside it, nothing can stop you. You don't need every answer. You don't need a step-by-step manual. You just need a picture so compelling, so rich in purpose, that quitting feels like betrayal. That's when confidence becomes destiny, because it's no longer a question of if, it's only a matter of when. And the world can feel that. Opportunities can feel that. People can feel that. The energy of certainty cannot be faked. And when you radiate it, life starts to shift around you. Doors open. Conversations change. You're no longer chasing. You're attracting. But be warned, the world doesn't hand you confidence without cost. It will test you every step of the way. It will strip away your comfort, your illusions, your attachments to old versions of yourself. Because unbreakable confidence requires rebirth. You will have to die to who you were, to the insecure self, to the people pleaser, to the version of you that waited to be chosen, that asked for permission to live fully. You will have to let it all burn. But from the ashes, something new will rise, something fierce, something clear-eyed and unshaken, something that does not flinch when the winds of doubt blow. And when you stand in that, when you own that, you become a force, not for domination, not for ego, but for transformation. Because your confidence doesn't just elevate you, it elevates everyone around you. It gives others permission to rise, to speak, to act, to become. Your life becomes a message, not written in words but in being, in how you show up, in the fire in your eyes, in the quiet conviction of your presence. And the greatest gift you can give this world is to stop pretending you are less than you are, to stop dimming your light to make others comfortable, to stop asking for permission to be powerful. You were born with breath in your lungs and purpose in your bones, and every second you spend doubting that is a second wasted. So walk, not timidly, not conditionally, but boldly, with spine straight, soul on fire, and a gaze that says, I know who I am, I know where I'm going, and I will not be moved. You were not designed for neutrality. You were not built for the gray middle, the lukewarm comfort of indecision. You were created to choose, to decide, to plant your flag in the ground and say, this is who I am, this is where I'm headed, and mean it. There's a reason indecisiveness rots confidence, because every time you hesitate, you reinforce a belief that says, I don't trust myself. But confidence, true confidence, is born in decisiveness, in the willingness to choose boldly, even when the outcome isn't guaranteed, especially when it's not. Because the truth is, clarity doesn't precede action. Action creates clarity. And every time you move, every time you choose, you tell your nervous system, I am not a prisoner here. I am not paralyzed by fear. I create forward. You do not need to know the whole path. You only need to know the next step, and then take it like it belongs to you. Because the longer you wait to move, the louder fear becomes. The longer you delay, the weaker your internal signal gets. Action isn't just about results. It's about alignment. It's about returning to yourself. Each decision made in courage pulls you back into integrity. And integrity is the foundation of confidence, because you cannot feel powerful in a body that betrays its own truth. How many times have you said, I'll start tomorrow? How many times have you promised yourself change, only to abandon it when discomfort showed up? That is not discipline. That is self-abandonment. And each time you do it, your confidence takes the hit. So if you want to build the kind of confidence that cannot be broken, start here. Keep your word to yourself. That's it. Not flashy, not complicated, but revolutionary. Because in a world full of promises made and broken to others, to ourselves, to life itself, to become someone whose word means something, even in private, even when no one is looking, even when it costs you convenience, that makes you unstoppable. Wake up when you said you would. Train when your body screams no. Speak the truth when it would be easier to smile and stay silent. Show up on the days you don't feel like it. Do the hard thing, the boring thing, the unsexy thing, over and over and over, until who you are on the inside matches the story you want to live on the outside. Because consistency is confidence, not the fake kind, the earned kind. And when you become the kind of person who follows through, you don't need hype, you don't need praise. You carry something much more powerful, Proof that you've done hard things. Proof that you've kept climbing when most people gave up. Proof that you don't negotiate with excuses. And that proof, it sits in your chest like armor. It shows up in the way you speak, the way you stand, the way you breathe. It shows up in how you enter a room, not demanding attention, but radiating something more rare. Self-respect. And self-respect, that's the currency confidence is built on. If you want more confidence, stop chasing surface-level affirmations. Stop posting for validation. Stop obsessing over who clapped and who didn't. Instead, look in the mirror and become someone you admire. Someone who doesn't run when things get hard. Someone who finishes what they start. Someone who tells the truth, even when it's inconvenient. Someone who walks into chaos with calm eyes and a steady hand. Because the world doesn't need more noise. It needs more examples. And the example starts with you. You don't need more time. You don't need more opinions. You don't need another plan. You need to decide. And when you do, your energy changes. Because indecision is energy poison. It scatters your focus, fractures your clarity, dulls your edge. But a decision, a true decision, sharpens everything. Your posture changes. Your habits shift. You stop asking if, and you start asking how. Confidence lives in the land of how. How do I grow through this? How do I become stronger here? How do I solve this creatively? The moment you ask better questions, you open the door to better answers. And that door, it's been waiting for you. So stop rehearsing your pain. Stop retelling the story of your past as if it defines your future. Yes, you've been through hell. Yes, you've made mistakes. Yes, you've fallen more times than you can count. But here's the secret. Confidence is built not in spite of those things, but because of them. Your scars are not your shame. They are your resume. They say I've been tested. I've been forged. I've survived things you'll never see. And I'm still here. That's not weakness. That's power. Let the world underestimate you. Let them sleep on you. Let them laugh. Gossip, whisper. Because while they talk, you'll be building. And when the day comes, and it always comes, that the world finally sees you, you won't need to prove a thing. You'll just be standing there, fully formed, already knowing, I earned this, I built this, I became this, and nothing can take that away from you. You want unbreakable confidence? Then burn the backup plan. Stop living like there's somewhere soft to land if you fall. There's power in deciding that this is it. This is the path. Not because it's easy, not because it guarantees applause, but because you have committed to mastering yourself no matter what. That kind of fire, it doesn't come from comfort, it comes from hunger. The hunger to evolve, to rise beyond what you thought was possible, to defy every limit that was ever placed on your name. And yes, people will doubt you. They will say it can't be done. They will call it impossible. But history was built by those who ignored the word impossible. They said Edison was crazy, said Ford's vision of mass transportation was a fantasy, said Disney was just a dreamer with no real business sense, said Oprah didn't have the look, said Elon was reckless, said Mandela was naive, said Lincoln was too broken, said every giant was just an average soul playing out of bounds. But they all had one thing in common: unshakable belief. Belief in something bigger than fear. Belief in their vision. Belief in their right to become. And if you want that kind of confidence, not the social media version, not the fake it till you make it kind, but the real thing, the rare kind, the kind that changes everything you touch, you must become obsessed with mastery. Mastery of your emotions, mastery of your time, mastery of your thoughts, your reactions, your focus, your energy. Because when you master you, you stop being shaken by circumstances. The world will try to distract you. It will throw noise, drama, temptation. It will dangle comfort like candy in front of a starving man. But you are not starving. You are disciplined. And discipline is the backbone of confidence. It's how you show your future self that you are worth the effort, that your potential is worth more than your impulse, that your greatness is worth more than short-term pleasure. So build habits that honor your highest self. Wake up early not because you have to, but because that version of you already does. Move your body, not for vanity, but but because strength is a signal to your brain. I am capable. Guard your time like your life depends on it, because it does. Speak with intention. Cut dead weight. Say no to anything that dilutes your fire, because every yes to distraction is a no to confidence, and you were not built for scattered energy. You were built for precision, for impact, for legacy. And legacy, that's what this is really about, isn't it? Not fame, not clout, but becoming the kind of human that long after you're gone, still leaves a wake of inspiration behind, a life so full of presence, discipline, courage, and conviction that it redefines what's possible for everyone who witnessed it. That is confidence. Not a mood, not a style, but a standard. The standard of I will not betray myself. The standard of I show up like it matters, because it does. The standard of I do not need to be liked. I need to be real. Confidence isn't something you perform. It's something you inhabit. It's in the stillness before the action. It's in the silence after the rejection. It's in the choice to keep going when no one sees your effort yet. And it doesn't scream. It whispers, I'm not done. Not until I've emptied myself of every gift I've been given. Not until I've lived out every ounce of potential. Not until I've become the person I was born to be. Not the version the world settled for. So stop waiting for the world to believe in you. Believe in you first. You go first. The universe follows. You speak your vision before it exists. You carry yourself like the leader you're becoming. You walk into every day with the kind of poise that says, this might be hard, but I'm harder. Let your decisions make noise. Let your actions preach louder than your words ever could. Let your evolution be so undeniable that people no longer ask, who do you think you are? But instead ask, how did you become this version of you? And when they ask, tell them the truth. Tell them I stopped waiting to be chosen. I stopped negotiating with my fear. I stopped playing down my purpose just to keep small minds comfortable. I chose to believe that I am allowed to be powerful. And I built confidence the only way it can be built, by showing up every single day, no matter what. That's it. That's the secret. Unbreakable confidence isn't found. It's forged. In sweat, in silence, in sacrifice, in self-respect. It's born the day you say, no more pretending, no more waiting, no more shrinking. I am becoming, and I will not stop. So rise now, not because you feel ready, but because you're done waiting to be. Stand tall, speak clearly, move boldly, and let the world watch what happens. When a soul decides to stop playing small, the game changes, the room shifts, the vision expands, and the world finally meets the real you.